Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 35 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to be a revelation film, answering many of the burning questions from the past two movies. And it's not just that, but it's also the fact that J.J. Abrams wants to introduce all these different types of Jedi, Sith, and Force lore that we have never seen before in the Skywalker saga in the Skywalker saga film's history. Now, on top of all of this, ever since the release of the final trailer, a lot of fans have been really looking forward to the fourth trailer of Episode 9, also known as the International Trailer, which is going to debut tons of brand new footage related to Luke, Palpatine, Rey, Kylo, you name it, the space battles. And not just that, once the International Trailer drops, that's when it's going to initiate a series of TV spots leading up to the release of the movie on December 19th. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various shot descriptions of the upcoming trailer 4 of Episode 9, this is where things begin to get very intense for this movie. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Kylo Ren is said to be in a defensive stance in front of Palpatine inside of his throne room, where it's described that there is a rear shot of Kylo Ren watching Sidious sitting on his throne, where he begins to rise up from the throne by using a strange crane-like device, where Kylo Ren begins to ignite a blue lightsaber. It's described that as this happens, it transitions to a sequence in which there is a close-up of Palpatine's eyes, turning from the traditional yellow Sith eyes to red eyes, where the iconic Palpatine laughter begins to play over the shot by Ian McDiarmid, followed by dialogue of Sidious, stating that it is too late for you now. The scenery is best described and explained as very dark and gritty, where Kylo Ren wielding the saber is seen with the lightning flashing all around him on the world of Exegol. Now, during the shot, a revised track of John Williams is described to play over the sequence that is a mixture of Kylo Ren's theme and a brand new theme for Ben Solo that was composed by Williams a couple of months ago. Additionally, another shot that explains a sequence in which Rey and Kylo Ren are described to be engaging in a lightsaber duel, where they are both said to be floating in mid-air, where they are being dragged through a part of a damaged Star Destroyer as if they are being sucked out to space, similar to Leia in The Last Jedi. While they are wielding their lightsabers, followed by where both Rey and Kylo Ren are quickly able to grab hold of a piece of metal within the failing Star Destroyer falling down to the surface of an unknown world. Tons of fire is described to be seen in the background, as well as the rupture through one of the walls on the ship that is sucking both Rey and Kylo Ren out of the ship. The destroyer is explained to have been ripped in half, providing a nod to what happened in the opening of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where both Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Sidious were on board. The next goes over a sequence in which another saber duel is teased between Dark Rey and regular Rey inside of Palpatine's throne room on the world of Exegol, where Rey is described to be hanging onto the edge of a cliff that appears to go down endlessly. While Rey is hanging on the edge of the cliff, Dark Rey is said to be standing above her, igniting two red single-bladed lightsabers, where she attempts to strike Rey down before it cuts to black. Here, Dark Rey does not have the hood over her head, and her hairstyle is done in a tight ponytail. The last explains a sequence in which Luke Skywalker is explained to be heard on the world of Ahch-To, where Rey is looking down at the water/ocean of Ahch-To at Luke's X-Wing, where one of the key shots that are demonstrated is described to add in the appearance of a ghostly hand of Luke spreading his fingers and aiming at the ocean. It's said to be a close-up shot of Luke's ghostly hand, followed by a revised track of Yoda's theme by John Williams that is said to be mixed with the Force theme in the moment to provide a magical tone to the upcoming international trailer of the movie. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why the upcoming fourth trailer of Episode 9 is going to be very important. Now, Disney and Lucasfilm, they have a big plan in place, ranging from mid to late November is where the marketing of this movie is going to ramp up. And it's very important to get the marketing down correctly in order to really make this movie a box office success. They want to pretty much get all Star Wars fans aware that this is indeed coming out on December 19th, and they also want to provide, new key moments of the Star Wars Episode 9 film, new surprising shots, just like Darkrai that we got at D23 back in August. That was the one thing lacking in the latest third trailer that debuted on ESPN back in October of this year, is that it didn't have a lot of wild shots that made us jump out of our seats going, whoa, what in the world was that, right? So that's exactly what the international trailer will provide. It's going to be more, I guess you could say, more of a trailer that's going to have these moments where it's going to make you question yourself as to exactly what's really happening. Now, the one piece that I do want to go over that I think a lot of fans are mind-boggled over is, of course, the moment in which we have the ghostly hand of Luke Skywalker appearing at the very center of the frame in front of the camera, aiming at the ocean of Ahch-To. Now, this mostly alludes to one of the scenes that we went over a couple of months ago, that there is going to be a sequence in this movie that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost will be able to lift the X-Wing out of the waters of Ahch-To, where Rey is going to go on board of Luke's X-Wing and leave the world of Ahch-To, leaving the Force Ghost of Luke behind. Essentially, this is going to establish that Luke Skywalker has been finally able to do exactly what he could not do in The Empire Strikes Back, and I think that's very poetic. I think that's a very clever idea by JJ. Sure, it's the same exact thing that we saw in The Empire Strikes Back, I totally understand that, and sure, it may very well be that J.J. Abrams is just copying a part of Empire Strikes Back, if you look at it in certain ways, absolutely. But if you look at it in a poetic sense, where in Empire, Luke was not able to lift the X-Wing from the waters of Dagobah, and now, on the world of Ahch-To, the ghost of Luke Skywalker is able to lift the X-Wing out of the waters of Ahch-To, and providing that ship over to Rey for a purpose. And I think that's a very clever thing by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and of course George Lucas. And if I really had to be honest, since George Lucas is attached to this movie, I have no doubt in my mind that George came up with this idea and proposed it to J.J. Abrams. No doubt at all. I mean, if you look at everything related to the original trilogy, this movie's really going to have a lot of similarities to that, and that's exactly what they want to do. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over that really kind of gives us a little nod to the prequel trilogy era is where there is a moment in the second act of the film that's going to involve a lightsaber duel, a zero-gravity lightsaber duel. But before it becomes a zero-gravity duel, it's actually a moment in which both Rey and Kylo Ren are being sucked out to space on board of Kylo Ren's Ravager Star Destroyer that gets cut in half. Again, this is a beautiful callback to that of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where we had that ship falling down to the surface of Coruscant, going through the atmosphere, and basically, that's where Obi-Wan delivers the iconic line, don't worry, we're at least flying half a ship. And hence, another happy landing. So, the fact that they are kind of giving us a callback to that moment in Episode 3, I think is very clever of Disney and Lucasfilm, and that's the thing about this movie, in case you guys did not know, there are going to be at least, minimum, 4 lightsaber duels between both Rey and Kylo Ren as well as Palpatine. So you have the one on Pisana, you have the one on the second Death Star, you have the one on board of Kylo Ren's Ravager ship. That's 3 lightsaber duels right there between Rey and Kylo. Then you got the lightsaber duel in Exegol. You got the one where both Rey and Kylo defend themselves using Leia and, of course, Luke's lightsabers on Exegol against Palpatine, reportedly, of course, and that is not the end of it. We also have the Dark Rey moments. The Dark Rey moments, I think, are going to be exactly what Daisy Ridley said about this movie, is how there's a lot of moments in the film that is very scary and very dark and gritty. And she actually talked about that earlier today. It's a very interesting interview. There are moments in the film that are genuinely scary, she said. And I think that also alludes to the fact that, they are doing something with Darth Vader's hybrid Force Ghost. As we heard in the D23 teaser trailer, you do hear the whispers, followed by the Darth Vader breathing. And not just that, we had the Dark Rey moment. So, this movie, I think, really could very well top the Revenge of the Sith movie. It has a chance to make itself darker than that, but still at the same exact time, I'm just not quite sure if you can really top Padme Amidala dying, Anakin Skywalker burning on Mustafar, the younglings, right? Everything related to the slaughtering of the Jedi. I just don't think you can really top that, but if they can make things darker in a different sense, then they do have that opportunity. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.